respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, beloved listeners. What if I told you that somewhere between the seconds you waste and the seconds you value, your entire financial destiny is quietly being written? What if the difference between a life of constant struggle and a life of calm, steady abundance is not luck, not talent, but a simple pattern hidden in how you treat your money? Time moves silently, money flows quietly, but the consequences, they arrive loudly, and one day, without warning, life asks you a question. Did you control your money, or did your money control you? Pause for a moment and think about your own journey. Many of us were not born into wealth. We were born into uncertainty. We saw our parents count bills before buying groceries. We heard conversations about next month things will be better. And somehow, that next month never came. We grew up believing money was something difficult, something stressful, something that slipped through fingers no matter how tightly we held it. And so, when we finally started earning, we carried that same invisible weight. Not just in our wallets, but in our minds. I remember a young man, full of ambition, his eyes filled with dreams of success. The day he got his first paycheck, he felt powerful. For the first time, he believed he had control. But within days, the money disappeared. Small expenses, small comforts, small rewards for working hard. And by the end of the month, he was right back where he started, waiting, hoping, repeating, month after month, the same story, not because he was careless, but because no one ever taught him how money truly works. You see, money is not just about earning. Anyone can earn, for a while, but very few people learn how to keep, how to grow, and most importantly, how to give their money a purpose. This is where the quiet wisdom begins. The 50-30-20 rule, at first glance, seems too simple to change a life. But often, the most powerful truths are not complicated. They are simply ignored. 50% for what you need, 30% for what you want, 20% for your future. It sounds almost ordinary, but let me tell you something deeply important. Simplicity is not weakness. Simplicity is clarity. And clarity is power. Because when your money has a direction, your life begins to have direction. Let's go deeper. 50% for needs, not desires disguised as needs. Not emotional spending justified as survival, but true needs. A roof over your head, food on your table, basic stability. This is your foundation. Without a strong foundation, nothing else stands. But here's where many people struggle. They confuse lifestyle with necessity. They upgrade too quickly. They stretch beyond their means. They try to look successful before they become successful. And slowly, silently, their foundation begins to crack. I have seen people earning well, yet living in constant anxiety. Not because they don't make enough, but because they spend without awareness. Now, 30% for wants. This is where life breathes. Where you enjoy the fruits of your labor. And yes, enjoyment matters. Life is not meant to be lived in constant denial. But there is a quiet discipline here. A boundary that must not be crossed, because wants, if left unchecked, become endless. Today it is a small upgrade. Tomorrow it is a bigger one. And soon, satisfaction becomes impossible. You begin to chase happiness through spending. And the more you chase, the further it runs. And then, the most powerful part, the 20%. This is not just money you save. This is money you respect. This is the part of your income that says, I believe in my future. Most people ignore this. They say, I will save when I earn more. But more never comes, because the habit was never built. Saving is not about how much you earn. It is about who you become. That 20% is your silent worker. It does not complain. It does not demand attention, but over time, it grows, slowly, quietly, powerfully. And one day, it changes everything. But let me be honest with you. This journey is not easy. There will be moments when you feel tempted, moments when discipline feels heavy, moments when others seem to move ahead, faster because they spend freely while you hold back. You will question yourself, am I missing out? Am I being too strict? Is this even worth it? These questions, they visit everyone who chooses the path of patience. I remember another story of a man who tried to invest early. His first attempt failed. He lost money, not because he lacked intelligence, but because he lacked experience. The pain was real, the doubt was strong, and for a moment, he wanted to quit. But something inside him whispered, "Learn, don't run." So he studied, observed, waited. And slowly, his understanding grew. That is the secret most people never discover. Wealth is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of patience. It is built when no one is watching, when results are invisible, when progress feels slow. And this is where the 50-30-20 rule becomes more than just numbers. It becomes a philosophy, a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of respecting time and money together. Because every dollar you allocate wisely is a vote for the life you want to live. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you are rewriting your future. But let me remind you gently, this is not about perfection. There will be mistakes. There will be months where things don't go as planned, where expenses rise, where discipline slips, and that is okay. Because this journey is not about never falling. It is about always returning to awareness, returning to purpose, returning to the quiet understanding that your future deserves your present effort. You see, the greatest tragedy is not poverty. It is the belief that nothing can change, and the greatest victory is not sudden wealth. It is steady control. When you begin to follow a structure, even a simple one like 50-30-20, something powerful happens inside you. You stop reacting and you start deciding. You stop fearing money and you start guiding it. And slowly, almost invisibly, your life begins to shift. Not in loud, dramatic ways, but in calm, grounded, undeniable progress. And as that quiet progress continues, something even deeper begins to change within you. You start to realize that money is not just a tool for survival. It is a mirror that reflects your habits, your discipline, your fears, and your patience. Most people try to fix their financial problems by chasing bigger income, but they ignore the patterns that quietly destroy whatever they earn. They run faster, but in the wrong direction, and no matter how much they gain, they feel stuck. But when you embrace a structure like this, when you begin to live by intention rather than impulse, you are no longer chasing money. You are building a relationship with it, and relationships require consistency. There will be long stretches where nothing exciting happens. No sudden breakthroughs, no dramatic increases, no visible rewards. Just the same quiet routine. Allocating, saving, resisting, repeating. This is where most people give up, because the world has trained us to expect quick results, instant gratification, visible success. But real wealth, the kind that brings peace, does not arrive with noise. It arrives like the sunrise, slowly, gently, almost unnoticed, until one day, everything is Roshan. You begin to feel a sense of control you've never felt before. Bills no longer scare you, because you've prepared for them. Unexpected expenses no longer shake you, because you've respected your future, and opportunities, they start to appear, because now, you are ready. You see, when you consistently protect that 20%, you are not just saving money, you are creating options. And in life, options are everything. the option to walk away from something that drains you, the option to invest when others hesitate, the option to support your family without fear, the option to breathe without financial pressure sitting on your chest. But these options, they are not given. They are earned. Quietly, patiently, repeatedly. And yes, there will be sacrifices. There will be moments when you say no, while others say yes. Moments when you hold back, while others indulge. Moments when it feels like you are standing still, while the world rushes ahead, but what you don't see is the hidden cost of their speed. Debt, stress, sleepless nights, dependence, and what they don't see is the quiet strength you are building, stability, clarity, independence. This is the difference between looking rich and becoming wealthy. One is loud, temporary, fragile. The other is silent, lasting, unshakable. And over time, this difference becomes impossible to ignore. The beauty of the 50-30-20 rule is not just that it organizes your money, it organizes your mind. It teaches you balance. Not extreme saving that suffocates your joy, not reckless spending that destroys your future, but a calm, grounded middle path. You begin to enjoy your life without guilt. You begin to plan your future without fear. And most importantly, you begin to trust yourself. Because every month you follow through, every decision you make with awareness, every moment you resist the urge to break your own system, you prove something powerful to yourself. I can rely on me, and that trust is worth more than any amount of money. Because once you trust yourself, discipline is no longer a struggle. It becomes your nature. And when discipline becomes your nature, success is no longer uncertain. It becomes inevitable. Because now, you are no longer rushing. You are no longer comparing. You are no longer chasing shadows of success that disappear the moment you reach them. Instead, you are building something real, something steady, something that carries a quiet dignity within it. And this is where the true beauty of this journey reveals itself. You begin to feel peace. Not the temporary happiness that comes from spending, but a deep, lasting calm that comes from knowing you are in control. Control over your choices. Control over your direction. Control over your future. The noise of the world begins to fade. The pressure to impress others loses its grip, and in that silence, you hear something powerful. Clarity. You understand that wealth was never just about money, it was about freedom. Freedom from constant worry. Freedom from dependence. Freedom to live life on your own terms. And slowly, as your savings grow, as your investments begin to breathe life, as your habits become stronger than your impulses, you stop asking, "How much do I have?" and you start asking, "How peacefully can I live?" Because true wealth is not measured in numbers, it is measured in peace of mind. There comes a moment, quiet, almost invisible, where you look back at your old self, the one who was uncertain, the one who felt lost, the one who believed money was always out of reach, and you realize that person didn't need more luck. They needed more awareness, and now you have it. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. Not because money suddenly appeared, but because you finally gave it a purpose. And this simple rule, this gentle structure, this quiet discipline, it was never just about managing money. It was about mastering yourself. It was about aligning your actions with your future, respecting your time, honoring your effort, and choosing, again and again, the path that leads to lasting fulfillment. So walk this path, calmly, patiently, without urgency, without fear. Trust the process, even when it feels slow. Trust your discipline, even when it feels difficult. Trust your future, even when it feels far away. Because every step you take with awareness is a step away from chaos and a step toward peace. And one day, without noise, without announcement, you will arrive, not at a destination of endless riches, but at a place far more valuable, a life where money serves you, not controls you, a life where your mind is calm, your heart is steady, and your future is secure, a life built not on luck, but on wisdom, patience, and quiet, consistent action. Respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, beloved listeners, take a gentle breath and look at how far this journey has brought you. From confusion to clarity, from fear to quiet confidence, from reacting to money to guiding it with purpose. And now, as everything settles within you, let this truth rest softly in your heart. Wealth was never meant to be a race. It was never meant to be loud, stressful, or filled with constant pressure. True wealth is built like a calm sunrise, slowly, steadily, without noise, without force. The 50-30-20 rule is not just a method, it is a promise you make to yourself, a promise that no matter how much you earn, you will respect it, a promise that no matter how tempting the world becomes, you will stay grounded, a promise that your future will not be sacrificed for temporary comfort. Because in the end, it is not the size of your income that defines your life. It is the strength of your discipline, the clarity of your vision, and the patience in your actions. There will always be people who move faster, who appear richer, who seem ahead. But remember this: what is built quickly often disappears just as quickly. What is built with patience, with structure, with awareness, it stays, it grows, it protects you when life becomes uncertain. And most importantly, it gives you something money alone can never buy: peace. So do not rush this journey. Do not doubt your progress. Do not underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. Because every time you choose wisely, every time you follow your structure, every time you honor that quiet 20%, you are planting seeds, seeds of freedom, seeds of stability, seeds of a future where you are no longer controlled by fear, but guided by purpose. And one day, those seeds will grow, not into just wealth, but into a life of balance, dignity, and inner calm. A life where you sleep peacefully, wake up without financial stress, and look at your journey, not with regret, but with quiet pride. So walk forward, with patience in your heart, discipline in your actions, and vision in your mind. Because abundance is not something you chase. It is something you build slowly, wisely, and intentionally. And when you build it this way, it doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your life forever.